Okay. Yesterday we found out that we'd not be playing this Saturday versus Mississippi State because they didn't have enough scholarship guys to play. We've had our own issues that started since our off week. As far as COVID's concerned, we've had 9 players test positive, 3 staff members test positive. We're pausing our workouts currently right now and practice until we get this thing under control, and we're testing every day to get this thing under control. You know, the unique thing about it is we had 7 straight weeks where we had 0 positive. So our guys did a really good job, but we'll get this thing under control and get prepared to play our next game. So, questions?
If you have questions for Coach, please indicate in the chat. Our first question is from Steve Moulton.
Coach, I guess out of the gate, how does this alter what you're going to do this week, and at what point do you anticipate moving forward and getting ready for Tennessee next week, Coach?
Yeah. So, you know, of course, our coaches are preparing, but like I said, we're just going to take it day by day and get this thing under control. We knew this year that there would be some challenges. I told our team that, hey, there's going to be a week that we could have some challenges. So we'll get through this. But the number one thing is making sure we get this thing under control before we get back in a routine. And I feel real strong we'll be able to do that in a short period of time.
Our next question is from J.G. Tate.
Hey, Gus, how does this kind of go? Do you take this day by day, or is it by a group of days? Or we just hadn't had this happen at all?
That's a good question. I think it's more day by day. I mean, we're just going to take it day by day. Our guys, like I said, for 7 straight weeks did a super job. And so we, like I said, we're just doing virtual things right now. And once we, feel comfortable, once Doc Goodluck feels comfortable, we'll get back going with our practice and our workouts. But right now, we're just preparing for Tennessee as a staff and players as far as film goes.
Our next question is Tom Green.
Hey, Gus, have you guys been able to trace this little outbreak to a certain event or anything like that?
No, it really hadn't been one event. Of course, we had an off week, okay, and I think you can see around the league that, anytime you get out of your routine, that's what you're finding. But there's not one single thing or single person or anything like that. I just think it's, getting out of the routine.
Next question is Jason Caldwell.
So obviously you're missing some practice time, but you've had last week and you had some extra days. How valuable could that be for, a couple of guys like Xavier Capers and Kobe Hudson that you've been counting on at wide receiver just to kind of be able to take everything in?
Yeah, so last week was really good, and we had a very, very solid week of getting our guys developed, the young guys. We put the ball down, we scrimmaged some. So it was really good, and one positive is our main guys are getting a little bit healthier. We were fairly beat up after that last game, so we are getting our older guys, that were a little beat up. We're getting them healthier and to be fresh for the last 4 games.
Our next question is from Jordan Hill.
Gus, what was sort of the timetable as far as the Mississippi State game from the point where you guys, had a sense that it could potentially be postponed to the point where, you guys knew that the game was going to be moved?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, we were concerned about ourselves. We were trying to figure out the numbers for us, and then I believe their athletic director and our athletic director got together, and then we found out that, they did not have enough players to participate as far as that goes, and so I think we found out about an hour before it was posted and the statement was put out.
Next is John Zener.
First off, when were your positive tests?
What's that?
What day were your positive tests, or was it?
Yeah, it just during our off week. I mean, I'm not going to get into specifics about how many this day, that day, but it's been. The total I gave you has been since we got back after the game, and as far as that goes.
And how many are in close contact? I mean, have you identified close contact?
Yeah, there's a handful of close contacts that go with it on top of that, and that's when you get into your numbers as far as by position or total scholarship numbers and all that. So, But yes, there was some contact tracing people that are out right now too.
Been able to play this week if
That's one thing. Like I said, we were talking through that. With the administration to see if we would have enough to play. So it was at least in the conversation that we were talking before we found out about Mississippi State.
Next is Jay Tate.
Yeah, Gus, does this time off help with Jamie Sherwood's situation? I mean, I imagine it will.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That was one thing, Shedrick Jackson, Jamie Sherwood, those guys, and there's a handful of other guys too that if you look at it as a positive, like gives them another week to heal up, because I don't know if Sherwood would have been available this week or not. I mean, he would have tried. He's a tough guy, but that's the positive to get some of these guys, healed up for the stretch run the last 4 games.
Mark Murphy's next.
Yeah, how about KJ Britt? How's he coming along, and could he play against Tennessee maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we're taking it week by week on whenever things. I don't have an update on that, and we'll see where, when we get to next week.
Your freshman defensive lineman Jay Hardy, is he making some progress?
Yes, yeah. All those guys, those young guys, and if you're talking about his health, yes, he is making progress. And those young guys that got a lot of work last week, which was really good.
Brian Matthews is next.
Yeah, Gus, wanted to ask about Brandon Frazier. How was his week before y'all had to cut practice? And do you feel like he is a guy that can add something to the offense?
Yeah, I think Chad talked a little bit about it, but there's no doubt he can. He's a very talented young man. He has been back on the practice field and getting back in the flow of things. So he's a guy available for the stretch run.
Thank you.
Follow up from Tom Green.
It's obviously a unique season, and I know you guys, paused your own activities, but how do you just handle having a second straight bye week?
This year is unique, and you learn. We're all learning, and you just got to adapt. I mean, you just got to adjust and adapt, and that was really my message way back before the season even started. We got in fall camp. So, guys, this is going to be a year about adjusting. The teams that adjust and adapt, the best are going to have an advantage, and you didn't know what to expect, and you just take it week by week. And like I said, I was real proud of our team that we continued to get better and better. We played our last game. We played our best game, had a lot of momentum, and we had an off week, which came at a good time. And then we found out that, hey, we're not going to play another one, but we just got to adjust. And so that's what we're doing as coaches and players, and that's really our mindset.
Next is Jay Tate.
Yeah, since it's an off week, and I'll question about Malik Willis. I know we've asked you about him a little bit before, but his season at Liberty's been outstanding. Had a great game last week. Just talk about how you feel about him and the success he's had and playing for your friend.
Well, first of all, he's a wonderful person, and it doesn't surprise me at all. He's very talented, and like I said, me and Hugh were really close, and he would keep me updated on how he's doing. So it doesn't surprise me, and they got it going on. And that was an unbelievable win, and happy for Malik, happy for Hugh. But it doesn't surprise me.
Coach, we got time for a few more. First is Mark Murphy.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the offense. It looks like you played your best 2 games, the last 2. What's going to be the challenge about staying sharp on that side of the ball?
Yeah, and I think it, having 2 weeks off, I mean, there's no doubt you worry about timing and all that, but I really believe, last week the 3 practices we had were very efficient. They were very clean, and so hopefully we can get back, fairly soon this week and get that timing back. But I don't look at it as a negative. I mean, our guys they'll be ready to go.
Thanks.
Next is Steve Moulton.
Yes, Coach. I did want to know, at least from a planning standpoint, moving forward, how much did maybe going through this already back in the preseason maybe give you a little bit of guidance here for the next couple of days?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. We did have a time in fall camp where we missed a lot of time. We did have So that experience definitely helped us, and I think not just planning wise, but it helps you from probably a player standpoint, already experienced it one time and getting it back under control. From a coach's standpoint, experiencing it and getting it back in control. And I've got a lot of confidence in our players, and they've sacrificed a whole lot to even get to this point. Like I said, 7 straight weeks, and then we have an outbreak. When we have an outbreak, it just it's not just one guy. It affects a lot of people, but our guys are determined, and like I said, we've got a good plan that we've had the experience like you talked about, during fall camp. So I expect us to get this under control fairly quick and get back in our routine.
Coach, our last question is from Brian Matthews.
Yes, Gus. Do the close contacts still have to sit out 14 days, or can they now test back in?
Yeah, I mean, close contacts are 14 days, and so that's the way it is.